Hello and welcome to SCOMathon 2023. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to today's amazing show. Plenty of cool stuff in store for you. But first, let me just kick things off by introducing myself. So I am Bruce Cullen. I'm the Director of Engineering here at SquareUp, a Director of Engineering here at SquareUp. I'm also a founding member of Cookdown and also a founding member of SCOMathon. So it's with great pleasure that I have to kick off today's SCOMathon event, which is absolutely fantastic. So it's great to be here. A little bit about why you've got me kicking things off. As a founding member of SCOMathon, I have been here for quite some time. I've seen the beginning of SCOMathon, and I'm going to allude to some of that history as we kind of go. But first, let's look at what we've got in store quickly. So we have three very exciting keynotes for you today. We have three panel discussions. These are by far, I would say, my highlight of SCOMathon. Absolutely awesome content there. We have 5 vendor talks this year, which is very, very exciting. Vendor sessions aren't to be missed and are not to be underrated, because at the end of the day, SCOM wouldn't be what it was without the vendors that make SCOMathon what it is, a really awesome product. And of course, we have the most important thing of the show, 8 sessions, apart from obviously you all here listening today and watching. So before we look at what's coming up and all the cool stuff we have to talk about today at SCOMathon, I'm going to start with a little history lesson. I'm going to start by taking a little bit of a look back in time to look at how SCOMathon came to be. So cast your mind back, if you will, to the year 2020. You can kind of guess some of what I'm going to say based on that fact alone. So it's March 2020. And I'm a director of product at Cookdown at this stage in time, and we're getting ready for going off to Microsoft Ignite, the tour. We just hired a new marketing person, a lady called Charlie, who's in fact in the background helping to make SCOMathon happen as we speak, which is very exciting. And the idea would be she'd have 2 weeks in the office, and then we'd take her on Ignite the tour, where we'd get her demoing and we'd show off all our cool products. All of our vendor friends were there. So we had a treasure map, in fact, at one of these events where we had all of the SCOM vendors come together to put on a really awesome prize. And we had Nice and Silex. I've forgotten who else now. It was 2020 after all. We had absolutely tons of swag. We had 150 bags of popcorn and a whole box of co-branded induction chargers to give away. We're all very, very excited. But then 1 week into Charlie's 2-week time in the office before going off, I went into our local Sainsbury's and I was greeted with shelves that looked like this. This is an actual picture from my phone. So clearly this was at the point the world was changing. And then unsurprisingly, COVID hits and everything was cancelled. So apart from 150 bags of popcorn to kind of console myself, I was starting to think about what exactly do we do here? Because events are a big thing. They're really great for meeting you guys and for community and for networking. And of course, lead generation for our various companies as well. What do we do? So we had a call with Nice. I think it was Christian and Eva from Nice, and the idea for SCOMathon was born. We were discussing System Center Universe, the old in-person conference for SCOM, many, many years ago, and we're discussing, wouldn't it be cool to do something like this online? And so on the 16th of June 2020, SCOMathon was born. And the reason why this is important and for me interesting is I've been here since the beginning. I was involved in it when it was embryonic as a kind of founding member. And the reason why I'm telling you all of this fun history stuff is because it sets me up quite nicely for what we're going to talk about in this session now. So what you've got for me is my personal recommendations for what to look forward to over the course of this event. And I'm basically very qualified to give you these recommendations, because when a speaker wants to speak at SCOMathon, the first thing they have to do is get through me. They have to convince me that their session is a good session. They have to show that they're a good speaker. And through that process, we have a good discussion over the contents of each of the sessions. So I get a little bit of insight as to what's coming, which is very, very exciting. So with that in mind, The first session that I would love to draw your attention to is this one. It is our panel discussion, the third panel discussion of the day, titled Microsoft Monitoring, What Do We Want to See? It is at 7:15 and is a half an hour panel discussion. And the reason why this will be an interesting session is because we're going to focus on what we want from SCOM and from Microsoft as far as roadmap is concerned. But particularly interesting from this session is the collective experiences piece. This panel discussion has a really, really strong panel. Let me just paint this picture even better. So first up, we have Cameron Fuller. Cameron is a solutions director at Catapult Systems, but he's been around Microsoft monitoring for a very long time. In fact, he literally wrote the book on SCOM. I was in the office a couple of weeks ago and looked up on the bookshelf, and there it is, Cameron's book on SCOM, 2007, if I'm not mistaken. But since then, he's not just worked on SCOM, he's worked on Sentinel and on Azure Monitor and general Microsoft technologies, and he knows his stuff. So his take on Microsoft monitoring will be worth seeing. Then we have Nathan Gow. So those of you who are regulars to SCOMathon will know the name Nathan Gow because he is the guy that brings security to SCOM with his free security monitoring management pack. He is at Microsoft. He is a senior technical specialist. But the reason why he's particularly interesting in the context of this session is he's the reason it's here. We had our usual pre-discussion on kind of what a session could look like and what we might show and talk about. And we got discussing, we got chatting basically about what we think Microsoft should do or could do. And it was a really interesting discussion. And basically, we agreed to have it again with a few more people and some more people watching us. So he's the reason for this panel discussion's existence and has lots to say on the topic as he works at Microsoft and is involved in it. Then we have Christian Heitkamp. So Christian is at NICE. He is a product manager at NICE. He's been around SCOM for longer than me, for a very, very long time, and is hands-on with MP authoring and has deep experience in that area. As I mentioned earlier, he was also one of the sort of reasons behind SCOMathon being formed in the first place, and is still very active and is still very involved in SCOMathon to this day, which is great. And then we have Howard Dyke. Howard Dyke is CEO of Silect. So those of you who know Silect will know what they bring to the table as far as SCOM is concerned. You think MP Author and MP Studio. They're two SCOM products that make management pack authoring easier. They have other products too, but those are their oldest and most kind of mature and well-known products. But also, in the context of this discussion, the thing that makes him particularly interesting is he's been very involved in SCOM MI behind the scenes. So he will have seen some of the things that Microsoft may have said yes or no to over the course of creating SCOM MI in the form it is, and we'll have some roadmap insights that I don't have. So he'll be a very worthy contender for this discussion too. Do not miss it. I guarantee it will be great. Moving on then to the next session that I think is going to be really worth seeing, which is hybrid monitoring with SCOM MI and Squared Up. And no, I'm not just saying this because, I'm the Squared Up guy. Obviously, I am also the Squared Up guy. But my reasons are actually to do with the SCOM MI content. This session is the one in which we're going to hear all about the SCOM MI roadmap, and there is roadmap in there. I've seen the slides. Also, hybrid monitoring with Azure Monitor and SCOM will be very, very interesting. And of course, how to visualize it all with Squared Up Cloud. So the particular point of interest for me is this hybrid monitoring with Azure Monitor and SCOM. Obviously, the world is not on-prem only for the most part. There obviously are still companies where that's the way of things. But for the vast majority, it's just simply not the way of things. It is hybrid, and Azure Monitor is Microsoft's cloud offering. So bringing those worlds together, anything that's in that area is going to be super interesting to me personally. And obviously, this session, as you would probably have guessed, is the SCOM product teams session. So as speaker, we have Ankur Gupta, who is one of the program managers working on the SCOM product. And obviously, because he steers the good ship SCOM, I want to hear what he has to say about the future of it. You've also got yours truly as a speaker just to talk to the bit about Squared Up, essentially visualizing all of the cool data that SCOM makes available with Squared Up. Now, the reason why, whatever you think of me or not, why I'm qualified for this session is as Director of Engineering at SquareUp, I'm also the product manager for the dashboard server product, which is the SCOM product, the SCOM dashboarding solution. But not only am I that guy, I'm also the SquareUp Cloud data sources guy. So I'm the guy that's responsible for connecting our cloud offering into all of the various tools on-prem and clouds that you might be interested in pulling into our products, including SCOMMI, unsurprisingly. So I have a hand in that, and I'm involved in some of the things that are happening as far as roadmap is concerned with the SCOM product team as well. Do not miss it. Very cool to see, but obviously hybrid monitoring with Azure Monitor is my particular focus, an area of interest. So then we have the SCOMMI deep dive. Now this is an interesting session. It's at 3:55. It's a 45-minute one. This one will cover SCOMMI architecture, how we set it up, cost implications, and migration paths. Now, for me, the thing that's particularly interesting about this session is this point here in the middle. People are interested in the architecture, but bear in mind it's managed instance, SCOM managed instance, the clues in the name. No matter how cool or not cool the architecture is, Microsoft handle all of that stuff. So it matters a whole lot less how it's architected. It's cool for interest. As far as migration paths are concerned, that is interesting to customers, absolutely. We have customers that are looking at actively moving to it right now. But really, until people get answers to those two middle questions, how you go about setting it up and how much does it cost, the rest is kind of irrelevant, especially when customers already have System Center licenses and they're looking at, comparing the cost and the complexity. So this session will be really cool for that reason. Made even cooler by the presenter of this session, which is not Microsoft. This is SCOM Bob's session. He literally has SCOM in his name, SCOM Bob. He's the most qualified person to give this session with no shadow of a doubt. He is a Microsoft MVP, has been for many, many, many years, since longer than I've been involved in SCOM. He's also a managing consultant at Topcore. He's been a multi-time presenter at SCOMathon and HackerSCOM over the years. And he's also been involved in SCOMMI in the back, giving feedback to the Microsoft product team, the SCOM product team. So he's very, very qualified to give this session. So do check it out. It is at 3:55, like I say. Do not miss it. Moving on to my last, I think this is recommendation of the day, although obviously all of the sessions are cool and you don't want to miss all of them. But this one is all about using PowerShell with SCOM. It's at 2:45 BST. And really, this session is all about getting started with PowerShell and, of course, SCOM, and some cool use cases from the real world. Now, for me, the cool piece, being a product guy involved in SCOM, is the cool use cases bit. So I've been informed by the speaker as we were fleshing out the topic, that this wouldn't be a tricks and tips over the last 10 years session, that this would be stuff that our speaker has been picking up and actively working on over the last year. Obviously, getting started with PowerShell is cool, but PowerShell and SCOM is not new. There are plenty of resources online as to how to get started with it, but that content is still very vital and very valuable, but it's the cool use cases I want to see, personally speaking. And that speaker makes it even cooler. So we have, returning for another year, we have Stoyan Chalakov. So Stoyan is a Microsoft MVP, again, for many, many years. He is a senior IT consultant and he lives and breathes SCOM, Azure, and general Microsoft tech. That is the gig of a consultant. You are hands-on with Microsoft tech for years and years. Oh, interesting. Oh, so a comment from a user. That's always the issue with time zones, trying to cover it all. But the good news for you there, dear LinkedIn user, whoever you were, is that everything is recorded, so you can catch up with anything you miss after the event. So no trouble there. So yes, don't miss Stoyan's session as well. But obviously, as I say, we have 12 hours of content. So don't miss any of it, and you can catch up with everything via recording. So all good there. Just a bit of housekeeping and scene setting before we get on with the show here, essentially. As you will have seen, We are using LinkedIn for the LinkedIn events specifically for this SCOMathon. So if you have any questions for our speakers, please do put them in the chat on the event. I can already see that the buzz is coming in. I'll bring up a few examples on screen so you get an example of the sorts of things that are possible with the platform. It's great to see some awesome engagement already with you guys, and keep it coming in. It's what our speakers and what I personally thrive off is the community aspects and everybody getting involved. So do just comment on LinkedIn. That's how we'll be handling Q&A. There we go. Moving on to keeping in touch. So SCOMathon is not just a single event that happens once a year. It's a whole community. We're at SCOMathon.com. We've been running these events for, as I say, 4 years, but not just those events. We've also hosted a hackathon every 6 months, and the results, including code, are up at SCOMathon.com. And we also ran regular coffee break webinars on SCOMmy topics, so it's all at SCOMathon.com. And of course, where would we be without an obligatory mention of social media? We are on LinkedIn, we are on Twitter, and we are on YouTube. All of our pre-recorded, or not pre-recorded, rather, post-recorded session content is on YouTube. So if you want to catch up with anything, it will all be there. Very cool stuff. Just a quick word from our sponsors. So the first one, clearly I'm biased, again, pointing to my t-shirts here on this one, are Squared Up. So Squared Up are the not-so-secret source for SCOM success with 2 products in this area. We have our dashboard server product, which is the one I am the product manager for, which has been transforming SCOM for over 10 years, bringing life into the otherwise lifeless SCOM console. I'm sure those of you out there who have seen what we have to offer will agree it's revolutionary for SCOM. But not just that, there is life beyond SCOM, and that is where our cloud offering comes in. The whole idea of our cloud product, originally called Squared Up Cloud, is that it brings end-to-end visibility to all of your tools, on-prem or cloud, by bringing them all together into a single place, so you can see everything all in one place. And we'll be showing you some of that over the course of SCOMathon. Also a shout out for something else that's going on in the area of Squared Up. We're giving away some prizes. Who doesn't like winning prizes at the end of the day? We're giving away t-shirts and we're giving away Lego. Those of you who know Squared Up will know we're all about the Lego here. We absolutely love a bit of Lego, a bit of a giveaway. So if you sign up for Squared Up, our cloud offering at app.squaredup.com, and build the coolest dashboard you can build, you'll be in with a shout of winning some cool pieces of Lego. And everybody, I believe anyway, I'll be shouted at and corrected if I'm wrong on this, gets a t-shirt that looks like this. Limited edition, one-time only run of t-shirts. So please do partake and get your free t-shirts, and of course get Lego as well. Open to anyone who can build a dashboard and email it to us. So that's Squared Up. Then we have Silect. So I gave Silect a bit of a mention earlier. I mentioned MP Author and MP Studio, which I'm sure some of you out there will be very familiar with. They make management pack authoring super, super easy. But this time around, they're focusing on their operations portal product, which is intended to make management of SCOM and overrides and onboarding new monitoring much easier, and to bring it to a DevOps space to essentially support SCOM with modern tools to make its monitoring useful for a DevOps use case. Very, very cool product. Do go and check it out, as well as MP Studio and MP Author at silect.com/SCOMathon. They have free versions of quite a few of their products as well. So it's not all about the money with Silect. It's good to hear. Moving on to Nice. Nice are very well known for making management packs for SCOM. And these are not even a comprehensive list of all the management packs they make. And as you see, there are management packs here from everything for the weird and wonderful, like AIX and DB2, to the more mainstay, like VMware and Microsoft 365, which I believe is one of their bigger management packs. And they leave no stone unturned. They go to the depths to make sure that everything in these systems is monitored and you have visibility of everything with SCOM, with their awesome management packs. Do go and check them out at nice.de/request. And then moving on to Gripmatics. So Gripmatics, up until this year, I think it was, were known as the leader, essentially, in my eyes, on Citrix, all things Citrix, doing management packs for CVAD, Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktops, what's called XenApp and XenDesktop when I was there back in the day, DAS and NetScaler deployments. So all of your monitoring needs for Citrix taken care of. But then more recently, they've brought to the stage SCOM AI GPT, which is essentially a ChatGPT integration that will enrich SCOM alerts with interesting data from ChatGPT on how to actually solve a SCOM alert. I'm sure you've all been there. You look at some SCOM alert and you think, how am I supposed to get any sense out of this thing at all? That's where their ChatGPT integration could really come in handy. And I believe there's a free version. Don't quote me on that, but they have a session later on. So don't worry, you'll hear from them then. Very, very cool stuff. And they're also at gritmatics.com. And then we have Opslogics, also known for their management packs. Now, personally, the one I find most interesting here is the Kubernetes one, because really this is a blind spot in SCOM's monitoring, as far as I'm concerned and can see. So it's a vital resource essentially to plug that blind spot. I recently went to KubeCon, and it was an absolutely massive event. 10,000 people all in Amsterdam just to talk about Kubernetes. Just illustrates how big that thing is and how important Kubernetes is to a modern monitoring landscape. They're also very well known for their Oracle and VMware management packs. Do go and check them all out at opslogics.com. And also they have a vendor session later on. Then we have our charity. So those of you who this isn't your first rodeo, you will know we like to give a little bit back to a charity that's sort of dear to us. And this year we've chosen Girls Who Code. Girls Who Code, who any of you who don't know, are an international charity, essentially a not-profit, working to close the gender gap in technology by teaching girls computer science. Now, those of you who work in IT, which I guess is quite a few, if you take a look around you, unless there's something very cool going on where you are, you will notice it's mostly blokes. And I think that is wrong. And fundamentally, that has to change, because with diversity comes great opportunity for both the company and also for us as individuals to learn and grow together, because we all bring our own unique experience to the role. So for every attendee for each session, we at Team SCOMathon will donate $2 to Girls Who Code. So obviously the more sessions you stay on for, we'll keep clocking up the money. We also have some donations from some of our vendors that will be explained as the event goes on, from memory, from NICE, and from Opslogics. I could be wrong on that. That will be explained later on. But the most important thing for you today is the more you watch, the more we donate. So do stay on for as much as you can. It's all in aid of a good cause. Right. So I think that's probably a good point to start introducing our compares. So I'd like to welcome to the stage. Oh, Tim, let's have you up first. Tim Critchley, how are you doing? Let's bring you up. Oh, you're muted. I'll bring in Adam as well at the same time, because you're sharing a microphone, and I forgot that. Hello, guys. How are you both?
How are you doing, Bruce?
I'm good. I'm very excited for another SCOMathon. I'm going to be here all day.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. So let's hear a little bit from you guys as to who you are and why you're here. I guess let's start with you, Tim.
So hello everyone. I'm Tim. Yeah, I work at Squared Up like Bruce. I work with Bruce and Adam here at Squared Up. I'm the COO, the Chief Operating Officer. My job's to kind of keep things running smoothly, and hopefully I do that as best I can. But yeah, no, really looking forward to SCOMathon. Got an amazing agenda. Yeah, I mean, how many MVPs have we got on today? 3,
That's a
4?
good question. I'm going to put that in the Locknote stats now. You've asked for it.
Super excited anyway, and really looking forward to your session, Bruce, in particular. I think SCOM-MI has been such big news for the whole community this year. So kind of looking forward to you and Anchor and what you guys have got to say about it. And also Bob talking about what's after SCOM-MI. I mean, and he just got SCOM-MI, so talking about what's coming after, that should be, really looking forward to that. So.
It's all about the roadmap. I couldn't agree more. Good to have you with us. Adam, how about yourself?
Hey everyone, I'm Adam. I also work at Squared Up. I'm VP Innovation here. That basically means I play around with all sorts of fun things most of the time. Today, I'm very, very pleased to be part of SCOMathon again. I spend a lot of my time working on our new SaaS platform, Squared Up Cloud, which I'm sure you'll hear plenty about today, with all its cool integrations. But yeah, I mean, I am particularly interested in sort of the way we're trying to take our cloud platform forward with plugins. We're trying to make that a big community effort at some point. So I'm really interested in a lot of the open source topics today. And in fact, I've been volunteered to join a panel session later to talk about open source as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to contributing more than just my compare role today. So hopefully I don't let you all down with that. But yeah, we're supporting a great charity today, like you said, Bruce. So yeah, it's really important that everybody attends as much as they can, keep those dollars racking up. It's a great cause. It is a very sort of male-oriented field, and SCOMathon is great evidence of that. So yeah, it's a worthwhile charity, and I'm pleased to be a part of it. And hopefully, Tim and I can keep you all motivated in those breaks, keep you coming back,
absolutely.
keep getting in for more sessions, keep those dollars racking up.
That is good to hear. It's good to have you both with us. Obviously, you volunteered. I didn't just rope you in. Obviously.
Yeah. That's true. I volunteered after I was asked to volunteer. Yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in.
That's good to hear. Well, it's great to have you both with us for another SCOMathon. So yeah, as sort of alluded to, so Adam and Tim will be with us in the breaks in between the sessions for the first half of the day. Then they'll hand over to two equally awesome compares. I'll be interested to see who else goes branded, whether it's just me or if everyone else does it too. We will see. All right. So I think that's probably all I had to say, except obviously I'm really, really excited to see what today's sessions have. And our first session is no exception to this, which is all about HP and Dell, two really, really big hardware manufacturers, and both which have management packs for SCOM. But very few people have experience of both, to be able to actually compare and contrast their management packs, to see which gets the most love and which are sadly neglected and sidelined, which is why we have Jan Pedersen to bring to the stage. Jan's been around Squared Up for longer than I've been around Squared Up, and that's 5 years. I remember working with him on the tech preview program for Squared Up 4 for Dashboard Server. For those of you who were there back in the day, and he's an all-round good Apple and also a systems specialist at Umea University. So he's going to be talking us through this session, and critically for the session, he is the guy that has hands-on experience of both MPs. So he'll be talking us through what's good and bad about both of them, and ultimately give us his verdict as to which is the winner. So unless there's anything else I need to say, keep the comments coming in LinkedIn. We love to see them. Let's go with your session, Jan.